Go down. Hey guys, thank you all for all the love and support that you guys gave me on my first video. Just so we save some time on this one, I'm not going to be going over everything that happened in the World Cup, just some key points, some individuals, some team performances, kind of some upsets, and kind of some things that I predicted from the start. Let's jump right into Group A and talk about Uruguay. They kind of did the unexpected and went through the whole group without actually getting scored on. With every other team, they at least conceded one goal. A lot of times people might say, it's because they didn't face tough opponents, but at the same time, both their center backs of Jimenez and Godin average around 3 interceptions, 2 tackles, and 5 to 6 clearances a game. When we talk about the best defenders in the world, sometimes we do leave out Godin, and I think he's very underrated. I think a lot of the players in Atletico's backline don't really get the credit and the props that they deserve. Jimenez, being as young as he is, he's really showing a lot of potential, getting a lot of experience for some of the older guys on Atletico, and their manager is very good as well. Moving over to Group B, I'm only going to talk about Portugal. I will talk about different teams in different areas of this video. To start off with Portugal, that game against Spain really became an instant classic. Ronaldo showing us that he's going to go down as probably the best Portuguese player of all time, and he also showed us why we call him the best player of all time. He's really surrounded by these young, unproven players compared to Spain, who have these wise, calm, and composed players. And Ronaldo really not caring about who his opponent is, showing us the world that PK is a fucking horrible center back, that no matter what, PK will not be able to guard Ronaldo and El Clasico, even for his country. I'm going to skip Group C just because I want to talk about France more in depth. I'm going to move on to Group D because I just don't think anybody else in that group besides France was really entertaining to watch. I think Denmark was really poor, and there's nothing else to say about the other two teams because they were just god-awful in the tournament. But if you move over, I'm not going to talk about Croatia either. I really just want to talk about Argentina, being the flops that they are. They have this team full of attackers, yet they didn't play Dybala, which was kind of weird, and they kind of played this washed-up Di Maria. Obviously, he had a screamer of a goal, but that's not something that we don't see every day in kind of the top 5 leagues. But to talk about Messi, I think he just shows us that he's really overrated. He doesn't do much for his country. If you can see, he lost kind of like his last 4 finals for his country. And some stats that you should know is that he misses at least 1 out of 4 penalties. And it took him around 1,444 minutes just to get 5 World Cup goals, compared to players like Harry Kane, where it only took him 152 minutes. And moving on to Group E, as you can see, I'm wearing a Brazil jersey, so these were the players that I was rooting for. I don't have much to say about any other teams. I can say that I am a fan of Serbia, but to talk more about Brazil, they really collapsed. I think their downfall was really starting Jesus, who I think is just shit. Like, he really didn't do anything for the team. Like, he was a fucking pylon sitting at the top of the field. Willian, he's a great player, but he's more of a defensive right winger. Like, he's really far back, helping out like the right back, the center defensive mids, bringing up the ball, compared to Douglas Costa, who's just a straight up animal, who wants to just put the ball in the back of the net. And I think we just should have started Bobby Firmino and Douglas Costa over the people we started now. Neymar showing us, he was being a cunt throughout the whole tournament, just being on the floor for like 14 minutes or something like that. Coutinho stepping up, showing that, if there's players and, star players around him that aren't really performing, Coutinho can really step up to the plate. I want to move over to Group F and just talk about Germany. The whole world was kind of shocked not seeing these guys make it through the group stage, but at the same time, you really have to see it coming. When they're starting players like Khedira, Draxler, Michael Royce, it's just weird to see. Mario Gomez, who's one of my favorite players of all time, but he's coming on to play for the national team. He's a fucking dinosaur now. Okay, he's a fossil. Okay, when you want to talk about old, there's 2 different types. There's wise and experienced, and then there's Mario Gomez. And then to top everything off, you don't bring Leroy Sané, the young player of the year, and you put Timo Werner in his position, who had I think it was a 6% passing accuracy when it comes from the corner, and then compared to Leroy Sané, who had 23 crossing accuracy. So it just baffled me when I kind of saw this. Toni Kroos is showing us why we call him one of the best center mids of all time. If you haven't started calling him that or giving him that label, you might be a prick. But the thing with Toni Kroos is that he wasn't given the best team of the tournament, and yet he's still performing at top tier. He's shown us why he's still world class, and that's what you get with great players. Moving on to Group G, the only team I want to talk about right now has to be Belgium. I think that they're really gutty for playing only 3 center backs. I think that's the only team to do it. Kind of backfired on them when they played Japan. Japan absolutely fucked them through the first half. But with Belgium, we've seen that they really performed better than we thought they would. They really choked throughout all the other competitions they've been in. Lukaku, Hazard really stepping up to the plate. Kevin De Bruyne choking. I would expect anything less from a fucking Man City player, but that's just my opinion. Moving on to Group H, I really don't have anything to say about these guys. I'm really just disappointed in Poland and Senegal for not doing better. I really had high expectations for teams like this. It sucks for Colombia, who I thought were going to do a lot better. It really sucks that James wasn't playing. But other than that, I kind of just want to give a shout out before I move over to the knockout rounds to Mexico, Sweden, and Japan, who I thought played phenomenal. If we move over to the round of 16, the only game I really want to talk about has to be against Russia and Spain. That being, I think, the only upset that I seen coming. Russia was scary throughout the whole tournament, man. I don't know who's feeding those fucking guys, but they were just animals. But to look at Spain, if you really want to go into depth, like their whole team, most of the players play in the top 5 leagues in the world, and like most of the best teams in the world. But for some reason, they just couldn't really get past that Russian side. I think it's that all these players, they're really, like I said, wise and composed, but they're just getting old now. They really can't hang with the young kids. And you could see that. A lot of the players are getting tired. I fucking hate PK. I think he's just shit. Okay, they need a new center back. And then Sergio Ramos, being class as he is, I think he's just getting old now. But going over to quarters, kind of the only thing I want to talk about is my team getting out Brazil. Kind of really pissed me off because I knew they could probably take Belgium. Neymar being a cunt, I'll say it on camera. I'll be the first to say it on camera. And then just Jesus being a pylon, like I said before. I don't expect anything less from a Man City player. And then Willian just being way too defensive. And for the semifinals, I was kind of saving England for last so I could really go into depth with them. But with Belgium, I'm really happy they made it all the way to the semis, only losing by 1 goal to Umtiti, who I also hate. I think he's very inconsistent, but like I said, I'll talk about that after. But Belgium, just, we all thought they were going to choke, but they didn't, so I was very happy that they made it this far. But to move over to the other side of the bracket, England, probably the most overrated fucking team the whole tournament. I'm sorry to all you people from Britain, all you English people out there, but it was never coming home, guys. Okay, like let's fucking be real with it. It was never coming home. You guys played Panama, okay, and then you guys played Colombia, okay, without James Rodriguez, and you tied them. Okay, this was a team without their best player that was already back with their best player, and you tied them. Okay, then beat them in penalties, and then when you finally played a good team like Croatia, you guys could not get past them. Okay, sorry for everyone who got their hopes up, but man, it was never coming home. I'm sorry. They're just overrated. Harry Kane possibly going to end up as being the best English striker of all time, though. I can say that with everything that I have in my body. But yeah, I'm sorry. So to move over to the main event, the main reason why I wanted to make this video is France against Croatia. With Croatia, they're a great team. I don't want to take anything away from them to all you Croatians out there. Croatia was really on the easy side of the bracket. I mean, we've seen this last time with the Euros, with the left side of the bracket being extremely harder, and the right side of the bracket being just way too easy. With Croatia, though, Modric is just fucking class. Rakitic showing that he's way better than what he seems like. He really needs to leave Barcelona and go to a team where he's really going to start showing how good he really is, how good of a passer he really is. With Croatia, there's some of the best players. Some of my favorite players, Perisic being one of my favorite players. I started liking Croatia back when Olic was playing with them. Mandzukic is showing us that he can play just any position. He's just that experienced, that wise to play any position. Their back line was kind of their only, I'd say, downfall. Subotic being class, but just their back line just not being ready to play against all these players of this, I guess, caliber, you could say. But with Modric, what does this mean for him? He didn't win the World Cup, but he did get the golden ball. I think that Modric should go down as one of the best midfielders of all time. He definitely should be in the top 10, showing how classy he is on Real Madrid, bringing his country all the way to the finals, even though he was the underdog in every single game. Yes, I understand that it took them 3 games and it went all the way to 120 minutes. I understand that. Like I said, I just don't want to take anything away from them. Besides, I just want to put out there that they were on the easy side of the bracket. But I love that team. I love those players, and I just think that this shouldn't hurt Modric's legacy because he did lose in the finals to a team like France. But to move on to the World Cup winners, okay, we're not going to see another winner for another 4 years, so, let's give it up to these fuckers. France, for those of you who hate them, for those of you who say Croatia's better than them, you're probably Croatian or European, I don't know, from somewhere around there. But France, we all really knew France should have won it from the start. Like, their team is just fucking amazing. Like, they could probably replace their left back, right back, center mid strikers with another French player, and he would be fucking world class as well. Giroud, I've always hated Giroud. I think he's probably the worst player I've seen in the top 5 leagues. For anybody out there saying, no, he fits how they play, I just think he's shit. How do you not hit the net? Okay, you don't have to score. Just hit the net in 800 minutes. Okay, it was 13 shots. Did he even get a shot in the finals? Because if he didn't, then it was 13 shots, 0 on target. Okay, that blows my fucking mind that this guy's a professional. But if you want to move on to players like, Pogba, their midfield kind of really stood out. Kanté and Pogba really held it down. A lot of people saying Pogba had a shit tournament, but some of his stats go hand in hand with Modric. I'm not going to compare them. I think Modric is the best centerman in the world at the moment. But Pogba had a good tournament. If anybody wants to say he didn't, fuck you. But with the rest of the team, I don't really see a weakness that they had, or a weak link. Obviously, the right back and the left back, not being the best right back and left back in the world, but you're looking at these two fullbacks as, as long as you're not a liability, it doesn't matter. Like, these guys made almost to 0 errors throughout the whole tournament, which is fantastic. Kanté, in my opinion, kind of being a little overrated. But I still think he's amazing. I just think people kind of put them on his pedestal. And then Matuidi, it's just Matuidi. Okay, he can't do anything but defend and run, which is all they really needed. Lloris being a fucking bozo in the net with that goal. But yeah, other than that, I think France really did deserve it. Their team is phenomenal. Griezmann really showing that he is one of the best finishers, the best attackers in the world still. And I'm just really happy to see somebody like France, somebody who I thought deserved it, actually win the World Cup. But for somebody who really stood out the most, obviously to everybody, the young player of the tournament, Mbappe, showing us huge signs of potential to even be better than the great Thierry Henry. I know a lot of you aren't going to agree with that, but he's just showing us. He's 19. Okay, he's a fucking teenager, guys. Okay, I'm 19. Look at the difference on what he's doing, what I'm doing. Okay, hopefully he carries us on to PSG, and hopefully he wins a Ballon d'Or. Right after Messi and Ronaldo retire, because those are the only two who are going to win it next coming years. But yeah, he's just phenomenal. He's just world class. But I'm just going to end the video here, guys. That was just my opinion on some of the players and the performances. Big shout out to everybody who liked my last video. Please make sure to bring that energy to this video. If you want to give me love, if you want to give me hate, just make sure you leave it down in the comments. But I'm out.